Hi, I'm Pattu from freefincal, and in this video, let's discuss how to track financial goals effectively, and we'll also have talk about a free tool. The link is available in the description box. So, sooner or later, people, when they start investing, they will realize that a goal, a clear, specific, well-defined goal, will help them understand where they have to go and where they are, how much they should invest, how much they should achieve, and so on. So, they will understand the importance of having a goal at some point in time on their own or by reading what others write. They will understand the importance of having a financial goal. But there are two problems, or rather two mistakes, I would say, that people do, even if they understand the importance of such a goal. One is focusing too much on returns. I've said this before in my financial audits. Do not focus on returns. I'm going to show you, and in fact, this is the tool in which you can actually use to quantify your progress. Not in terms of returns, but actually in terms of what the money is worth. And the second mistake that they do is they do not use a financial calculator, for example, a retirement calculator or a calculator for investing in for the future of a child. That is a goal-based calculator. They do not recognize that such a calculator should be used once a year until the goal is achieved. So how can we put this all together and create a single tool? That has been my aim in doing this. This tool is about 5 years old now, I think. But I have been personally using this tool for since 2011. Every year I have records of my progress, how I've been managing. So this tool essentially tries to set right both those two mistakes that I talked about. So I'll just quickly show you the features of this tool. So this one here is actually a monthly tracker, and I've it says 2014. Of course, you can change it to the current year and so on. So every month I will write down particulars about my salary, how much will go for expenses, how much will go for. Of course, I don't do it now. I used to do expense tracking a few years ago. How much goes to the emergency fund, and then for a particular goals for your retirement, how much will I invest, from where, name of the instrument, where for example, I'm investing in X mutual fund, PPFAS, HDFC, balanced, etc., etc., etc. I'll enter all those instruments, I mean, names, and also write down the amounts that I'm investing every month. This is what I do. But in order to make it more easier for people to start using it, what I've done is I've created, you can see these blue tabs here. I've created investment trackers here. So I've set, I basically set, this is my target corpus. This target corpus you can get from the output of the goal planner. There's a goal planner here. We'll come to that finally. So output of the goal planner is here, and the annual increase in investment is also from there. Suppose I set it as 10%. So you can see that every year from 2019, I have to invest each month 34,000 rupees, let's say. 2020 for retirement, I have to invest 37,000. 2021, 41,000, and so on. So that's a 10% increase. And how much I invested in January, how much I invested in February, and so on. I track the investments, not the investment value. Whenever I say track investments, my focus is more on tracking how much I actually put in and not the value of the investment. Every day looking at it and so on, that's a silly. And then the actual average is written down. So this average should not be lower than the target. That's how I have, for the last, since 2010-11, I have managed this kind of a tracking, and more or less some months I will not be able to do some, and then I will catch up later and so on. This tracking I have done in the first sheet that I showed you, but for people who are just starting, I have created separate sheets, one blue sheet for retirement, one blue sheet for another goal, and so on and so on. So you can give this a try. And now finally, let me go to the retirement planner. We will run through one retirement planning calculation. This is of course one of my earliest calculators. I have since then moved on to use robo advisory tools and the sophistication involved in calculating the corpus and estimating the retirement corpus, the accuracy is enhanced much better. But for many people, for a start, this is more than enough. So let me just have a quick look and see. Yes, so let us say we are looking at some guy who was born on 1st September 1990. Obviously, it's not me. I was not born then. So this is a 29-year-old guy. This is the age at the end of the current year will be 29 years. And we're going to look at his retirement in 2049. So that would means that he will retire 30 years from now, he will retire. And that person, so around 60, by the time he's 60, he will 59, 60, he will retire, and he expects to live up to 90. We will assume inflation at 8%. We will assume current monthly expenses as 40,000. We are going to exclude EMIs because that's not going to remain in retirement. We will remove EMIs. Then if there is any annual expense, I've added another 40,000. Of course, this can be higher for most people, but I've just added another 40,000. It does not make much difference. You can make it 80,000 also. That's it. So that's the annual expense. Post-tax return before retirement. So overall portfolio return, even if he invests 60 to 70% in equity over a course of time, I will set it only at 9% because it will not be very high. Don't expect too much. Be realistic. Keep it at 9%. It will be very safe because the equity allocation will not be 60 or 70%. You have to reduce it. So taking into account all those reductions, average is 9%. If you want more specific calculations, you can consult the robo-advisory calculator. So the post-tax rate of return after retirement, I've set it at 7%. This may be too high in 2049, but as of now, this is 7% is all right. The point I'm trying to make is this calculation has to be redone every year. When I say current monthly expenses, these are current monthly expenses in 2019. You have to come back to this calculator in 2020 and write down the current monthly expenses at that point in time. That is how you take into account lifestyle creep and any unexpected increase in expenses and so on. So this is a major mistake if you are not using a retirement calculator or goal planning calculator every year. You have to use it every year. So the annual increase in investment, I've set it at 10%. This may be a little high, but let's see. The current value of the EPF or PPF corpus, whatever NPS corpus, I've set it at 3 lakhs, just the fixed income corpus. More details, more granularity in handling this current value of the corpus, current equity corpus is available in the robo-advisory template. But ballpark, this is enough. Average rate of return for this, I've set it at 8%. Again, for now, this is all right, but maybe you have to go bring it down later. So we are expecting this corpus to grow to about 30 lakhs at the time of retirement. There's 3 lakhs to become 30 lakhs at the time of retirement. So that's the current date. So every day you can it will change the date. You don't need to do it every day, but I mean it's auto done. Years to retirement is 30. Age at the end of the current year is 29. Years in retirement, that is after retiring, he will be alive for 31 years. And the total annual expenses is 5,60,000 now. And the annual expenses when the person retires will be, that is the in the first year of retirement, the annual expenses will be 57,39,000 something. And this should be the retirement income in the first year. Then the retirement income should increase year on year at the rate of 8%. That's the plan. So then the corpus required is stay calm. It's 20 crores 52 lakhs 72,621 rupees. It's very simple to achieve this. It's not such a great deal. It's the amount of investment required is not too high. Of course, you should. Please recognize that for a retirement calculator, ballpark is at least 75% to 80% of, if X is your monthly expense, 75 to 80% of the monthly expense minimum you should be investing totally, including your EPF, in retirement. So if you look at it like that, the investment required including EPF contribution is 36,972. This amount has to increase every year by 10%. if you go back to this retirement sheet, this will now be 36,972 auto filled, and then this will increase by 10% every year. What is most important, and this is how I look at my the worth of my retirement calculator, is if I were to retire today, so that person has about 3 lakhs with that. If the person were to retire today, the current corpus will only last 0.54 years for that person to beat inflation. 0.54 years, it's like a few months, right? Like what, 5 months or so. If the person were to retire as intended, that is at the age of 59, when that corpus becomes 30 lakhs, the person can remain financially independent for about 0.53. Again, the same, because it just scales out proportionally. This is what I track. So suppose, let us say, instead of 3 lakhs, this person has some overall current investments of 1 crore. Just for the sake of argument, 100, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lakhs. Look at what happens to this. This will immediately become 16 years. So you can see that it will become about 16 years. If the person had to retire today, he can be financially independent for 16 years. Same when he retires at 59 or 60. So when this amount, when this duration becomes like 25 years, 30 years, then you are automatically ready to retire. That is what you should track. Every year, don't worry about returns. As long as they're reasonably alright, don't worry too much about it. You have to look at it. I'm not saying you should not look at your portfolio. Have a look at it once a year. But don't get bogged up about returns. Look at these numbers. This is what you need. You can't eat returns. You need money. And this tells you how long that money will last. You can do the same exercise for other goals also, for child's education, child's marriage, whatever, first child's education, second child's education, marriage, etc., etc., etc. You can say when you need the money, when you start investing for it. These are all fairly common things. I'm not going to get into the details here. But unlike retirement, judging the progress of other goals is a little bit tricky. For example, let's say you want to buy an Audi car. I have this video. You can check that out. How to set a financial goal and how to buy an Audi car. Suppose you want to buy an Audi car and it's 40 lakhs. You can check the current price. When you started investing, it was 40 lakhs, and then when you after 5 years, that 40 lakh could have become 45, 50 lakhs, depending on how auto industry may or may not grow. You don't know. It can be 50 lakhs here. But at that time, you may have saved, let's say, 20 lakhs. So you know that out of 50 lakhs, you've got 20 lakhs. So the way you track the progress of other goal is to look at the current cost. Every year, you have to redo this calculation as well with the current cost. So current cost in 2019, redo it in 2020. What is the cost then? When you do that and readjust all the return expectations depending on the scenario, the economic conditions at that time, you can the future, the amount that you need to invest will also change. If you keep doing this in a disciplined manner, I guarantee you that the amount needed will actually start decreasing. The amount needed for investment in my case, for retirement in my case, was extremely large when I started, but because I stuck to the plan, it actually reduced, and it actually became zero, and sometimes even zero or negative, so which means that I don't need to invest any more for my retirement. That situation will also come to you. Don't get scared about this 20 lakhs, 15 lakhs, 20 crores, 15 crores, whatever. Things will change. Be disciplined, put your head down and work. The goal-based investing calculators will show you favorable numbers. You can track the progress effectively if you use these calculators once a year. So get into this habit of download the sheet and use this once a year. If you want more details, or if you're a financial advisor, you can use my robot-based template for planning for your clients and so on. So give this free sheet a try. It's the description. A link is in the description box. Let me know what you think, and if you have any questions on goal-based portfolio management or risk management, please leave them below. So thank you as always for watching, and I'll catch you again in another video. Bye bye.